Hi.
So, did you see what I gave our son
Yes.
as a gift?
Yes.
Pretty cool. Can you please describe what it was?
Yes. It was I think 4.5 by 4.5 inch Go board, 3D printed,
Correct.
and the pieces was with magnetic black and white pieces,
Right.
but the Go board is so small that when you put the pieces next to each other, they jump all over the board and can't stay in place.
Correct. Which is a bummer because it was so close. The quality is really nice and it's so small. It's amazing.
Have you talked about how you're after a pocket size Go board and that's how this came around?
Yes, I have talked about
Okay.
there's a commentary on that. So, but yeah, the quest for the pocket-sized Go board didn't work perfectly, but do you think our son liked it?
Yeah, I think the fact that it was Go, which he associates with you and likes to play because you do little things and let him win. I think it's like the specialty of that is what he really was into. But I will say, I wish you had given him a functioning Go board as his first Go board.
But you know what? I don't think it mattered to him. He's 5 years
Yeah.
old. He loved just seeing the little pieces like jump around.
Yeah.
This is just a prototype. But I think he was really jazzed that he got like something that was
His
his.
own, yeah, and with these little pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, it was really cute actually in the car when we were driving to town this morning. I just saw his head down in the rearview mirror with the board, and afterwards, he said something about he's like, "I had to fix it," and I think he was just, like, putting the black and white pieces, like, organized on each side. It was very sweet, so he's taken care of.
That's super sweet.
Yeah.
Well, honey, thank you as always
You're
for the
welcome.
intro.
You're welcome.
We'll get this thing started. This is All Things Go. We're going to do some talking about Go equipment. I have been in a bit of a conundrum because I've started to develop a weakness for buying Go sets. This used to be an addiction of mine when I used to do bike racing. So I used to buy the nice road bike for when I was doing races, but then I'd have my old road bike for training on either indoors or outdoors. And then I might have a bike for riding around town. So I loved buying these different bikes and having them for slightly different purposes. And, you know, it's not necessary. It's almost like a hobby. So now that's shifted over to Go and Go boards. And also the irony is that I actually mostly play online. I barely play in person, but like a lot of us, I love the physical and tactile feel of using the boards, and I think the artistry of it is really amazing. And there are some times that I go out and play in person. It almost doesn't matter that I don't play a lot on those physical boards. It's special when I get to use them. So, my quest has been through trial and error, trying to find different Go sets to fit my needs. Back in the pandemic, I started by buying just an 11 by 11 inch, 19 by 19 magnetic plastic Go board from Yellow Mountain Imports. And that really got me pretty far. I mean, very minimal in quality. It holds up perfectly fine, but the stones are like a little dinky plastic stone with a magnet inside, and the board just kind of folds open. So I started with that. Then I said, okay, I want to have something that feels more legitimate and feels more traditional. And so on Yellow Mountain Imports, I got their bamboo 19 by 19 board that's full size. So I think it's 19 inches on the long side. And that has the Yunzi stones, if I'm pronouncing that probably incorrectly, that are Chinese. And I love the double convex feel and the sort of stoniness, the grit on the stone. I did put I think it's sewing machine oil they recommended that you put on all the stones to keep them from drying out. I didn't put too much on them, but the funny thing is now, like, years later, as I use them, because I don't use them very often, you can kind of smell the oil, and it almost smells like slightly rancid. So I probably should clean them off and change them. But anyways, again, it's still a very pleasant experience using that. And that's probably the board I enjoy using the most, but it's only really appropriate for playing at home. I've sometimes brought it over to my dad's house, who's 3 hours away, 4 hours away, because he does actually play a little bit, but it's annoying to bring. It's heavy, it's big. It does have a nice kind of felt bag that slides over it and is fitted, but it's annoying to carry around. It's also heavy. So from there, I went through this period of sort of trial and error. I wanted a board that I could take out and go to a coffee shop, or if I was traveling with family, to go somewhere else so I could play physically. I first tried some roll-up magnetic boards, or just roll-up boards. One was a silicone roll-up board, and I loved that it had the coordinates on the side so that you could speak to it with the coordinates, though the funny thing is that the coordinates were completely in a different layout than the sort of traditional layout of coordinates that you would see on like OGS or the online Go server or something like that. So that was actually annoying. Once I bought the board, I was hoping it would lay out flat because it was silicone, but it didn't lay out very well. And of course, you need a very, very flat surface for that to work. So that wasn't great. Also, the feel of the roll-up boards, like putting down a stone and not getting any sort of clicking sound or hard knocking feel, is really unsatisfying. Then I did get a small 9x9 board that was very basic, and I just used that with my son just to show him the basic rules. Or if a friend or family member ever does want to learn, I have that board in the house, but I barely use it. And it just has the single convex stone setup. So then I had to think about what I was looking for. And so I didn't want this like huge floor goban. That's just too crazy. Like I can't do that with my legs. When I lived in China, I would see people sitting on like a bus bench, and instead of sitting with their butt on the bench, they would actually be squatting fully in a squat position and like reading a newspaper. And I cannot believe that people can do that with their flexibility with their legs. I definitely can't do that. And I think in the West it's just less common. But anyways, so I'm looking for probably a smaller board. It doesn't need to be traditionally wooden, but I love the feel and warmth of a wooden board. But then can it be something that can either break down or be smaller into pieces, or be a small board, but then how can I hold the stones? Or if I'm playing on the board, but I'm in a plane or I'm traveling somehow, can I still use it? And maybe that means I need a magnetic board. So this was sort of my challenge the last few years. And so I tried a gentleman named Dave, who I found online after searching for a few holidays. I was continually trying to find somebody like a custom board game maker in the West that might make something that knows something about Go boards. He lives in Hawaii, and he was great. 80-year-old gentleman, uses a CNC machine and really carefully builds a custom board for me. We went through emails quite a bit back and forth, and he was really great about being thorough. The price ended up being a bit more than I really think I probably should have spent. It was in the hundreds of dollar range. I've never spent more than that. It came out actually quite well. The thing that I asked him for was I wanted as small as possible of a board for traveling with, but also probably having it be magnetic. We were playing with the idea of, instead of it being magnetic, maybe having some sort of slightly cut out piece of where the intersections would be, where the stones would land down, and have them be just slightly recessed so that you could like put a stone down, it would just sort of sink in. But of course that wouldn't really work because you had to have those sort of carve outs on the board be a little bit lower, and it started to create all these shadows and depth issues. You couldn't really see the intersections on the board. So we worked through it, and we landed on using magnets on the inside of the wooden board. He got it down to 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches. And then he built it all as sort of one box. So he made it so that there were 2 drawers underneath the board where you could store the stones. The box and the board itself came out really well. I wouldn't say it was like the most refined piece of Go equipment, but it seems of very high quality. The problem with it was that the little stones that he made, which were very small, probably about the size of the end of my pinky, the magnets worked well. He had to do trial and error. His first set didn't work very well because the magnets were too weak, so he had to get a different material. But long story short, he had to cut out by hand these like little plastic rods and then put in tiny magnets in them for like 400 pieces. It took him literally months. I think I ordered the board in January, and then I didn't get the board until June. So it took 6 months. So I appreciated the guy for building it and just sticking with it. But the stones came out and they just didn't look good. They were plasticky. They weren't cut very evenly or consistently. They just didn't look nice or feel nice. So then after that, or kind of while I was waiting for that board, I found on Etsy a seller of a Go board, and his name was Mark, and his shop is called the Functional Print Shop, and he 3D prints with his plastic filament Go boards and Go sets. And what's really cool about them, if you've seen it, is that it will be like a box, and he had one standard size. The one I got was 9 inches by 9 inches, but it was a 19 by 19 board. What he did was he 3D print a box, and inside the box, it would have 2 spaces for the magnetic stones. And then the lid of the box was like this cap that had the actual board on it, and you would rotate it almost like a jar to take it on and off of the box on the bottom. And it was not super tall. It's like maybe 2 inches tall. So really nice and compact, 9 inch by 9 inch. And man, he really nailed it, because in the video, if you look on his shop page on Etsy, he just drops a stone onto the board and it just sucks right to one of the intersections. And he makes the stones so that they have sort of like a special shape and a lot of texture. One set has like a star mark on top. The other one has like a circle. He also says that you could actually feel the board. If you couldn't see for some reason, you could actually feel which pieces were black and which pieces were white. And so I had bought one of his boards, really liked it. I actually went to him after I got the custom wooden board from Dave over in Hawaii, and I said, hey, could you 3D print these great stones that you made for the board I got from you, but could you actually make them to a custom size for the wooden board? And he could. And the beauty of the 3D printer is that he can really custom make these sizes fairly easy. And so he made a set for me on the wooden board, and it worked out really, really well. So now where I'm at is that I have one more order in with him, because I really love these 3D printed Go boards. They're just so practical and functional, that he's going to use a lighter color. And I asked him how small he can make the board, because the goal here is I want to see what the trade-offs are in like holdability, usability of the stones, depending on how small or big the board gets, and again, the magnets. And so he's going to make me the smallest board he can, which is 4.5 inches. So hopefully he can get that to work with the magnets and everything like that. I will say on the 9 inch by 9 inch board that I got from him, the magnets are really great. They work so well that they're so strong that after you play a game, to get all the pieces off, it's a little bit of a workout for your fingers. So the magnets are really strong, which is kind of a good thing. You could play on a really bumpy car ride or on a plane, and the pieces aren't going anywhere. And again, you can feel them if you wanted to play like blind Go or blindfolded Go, if you can do that kind of thing. The last board I got was in a different direction. It was from a gentleman named Brad, who has a storefront on Etsy as well, and it's called Colorado Woodworker. And I found it on Reddit. I think a lot of people have been posting about it, but he makes these beautiful wooden Go boards that are full size. But then he breaks up the full-size board into 4 pieces, and he puts magnets inlaid on each edge so that you can easily snap them together if you want to go travel somewhere and then put it back together. And this has been a really nice, elegant solution for if I do want to use a bigger board and I don't have to lug around this huge physical dimension, right? Because the normal 19-inch by 19-inch, if you can't break that down, it's pretty big. So that is working really well. There's been a lot of learning and trial and error through this process, and I'm sure many of you have gone through a lot of other things, but maybe one day I can, afford more fancy and expensive boards. But I mean, right now it's really about practicality, and it's been really fun to do. So I have a couple different options now, depending on who I'm playing with, how many people, where I'm playing, am I playing at home? There are different parts I like about each set of boards. So I reached out to both of the board makers on Etsy, and they actually are going to offer up discount codes. So if you like either that small board that was 3D printed, that was Mark at Functional Print Shop, he is offering a 15% off discount code with the code GOBOARD. That's GOBOARD, GOBOARD, when you go to applying the discounts. If you go in the episode notes, there's also a link that will just take you right to the product with the discount already applied. For the full-size travel board that breaks down into 4 pieces that are magnetically connected together, you would go to Brad's storefront on Etsy, which is the Colorado Woodworker, and he's offering a 20% off discount code, and that code is GOPOD. So that's GOPOD, GOPOD. You'll also see that in the episode notes as well. So I love those boards. Definitely check them out. I think you'll like them too. So thanks, Mark, and thanks, Brad, for offering those discounts. Hey, everybody. I wanted to take one more chance to thank all of our individual contributors to the show, as well as our sponsors for this episode. The first sponsor is Go Magic, a modern way to study Go like never before, with an online platform to learn the game of Go. They've got great tools. I've been using them for a long time, since around when they started. I highly recommend them. Go to gomagic.org to learn more. Baduk Pop is also a sponsor of the episode. They have over 4,500 different Go problems. They have 3.5 million user accounts and 27 million games played on their app. To download the app, go to your app store or badukpop.com. That's BADUKPOP.com. SmartGo One is also a sponsor of this episode. They're a great place to go for not only recording down your games, but replaying them, reviewing them, getting access to classic Go books that are digitized and really easy to use and read. The app is available in the App Store on iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Go books are also available in an EPUB file format as well. The last sponsor of our episode is AI Sensei. Analyze your games with their advanced AI for free. Take your Go to the next level. Go to ai-sensei.com to learn more. Our last interview for the season is going to be with a Go club in Hawaii. I got in touch with them via a YouTube comment. Chris, who's one of the organizers at that club, posted a comment on YouTube, and he just touched base, reached out and said, hey, we'd love to connect and tell you our story, because the Honolulu Go Club has quite a bit of history. And so over time, we were able to play some games online and eventually make it work. And so they were nice enough to get a few of their members and huddle into a car with one of their cell phones and have a conversation with me about Go clubs, why they're so great, why in-person is also great in conjunction with online play. So let's jump right into that interview now. All right, we are all here. So let me go around. Let me make sure I got this right and I'm missing one name. So we got David in the front passenger seat.
Present.
And then behind, may I catch your name?
My name is Vignesh. This was my first time visiting Hawaii in general.
Cool. And then we got Chris. Thank you so much for making this all happen. And then Victoria. And then we have Guy. Awesome. Maybe we could just go around. Chris, did you want to start?
Sure. So I'm an Army guy and I PCS to Hawaii. And then I actually learned to go in Korea a long time ago. I think it was like 2012 when I was stationed over there. Actually, it was Shohei 9P who taught me. It's kind of cool. And
Whoa.
anyway, it's difficult to find people to play in person, period. So I always look whenever I get to a new duty station. And then I kind of figured I was going to find something here. And sure enough, I went online. I found Sid in the Honolulu Go Club and emailed him. And then before you know it, I met Dave and everybody else.
That's awesome. Dave, tell me how you got involved.
Okay. Well, I learned Go about 54 years ago in Israel. That's a long story, which we don't need to go into. But it's very hard to find people to play with. But maybe about 30 years ago, stroke of luck, my next door neighbor was a Go master from Japan. And he mostly lived in New York and would run Go classes sponsored by Sony. But every 3 months, he'd come to his home in Hawaii for a weekend or a week. And then while he was there, we'd play every day together. And I got a lot better under his tutelage. And then he told me about this Honolulu Go Club. And I started coming here about 25 years ago.
That's incredible. 25 years of going to a Go Club is a commitment. So that's really cool to hear. Thanks for that backstory. Victoria, what about yourself?
Oh yeah, I only started playing Go last summer. So it was actually my high school alumni email mailing list. There's a teacher who's currently at the high school that he wasn't there when I was in high school, but he actually teaches his students Go, Brian, and he actually had the governor declare Hawaii, what is it, the official Go month,
Go month.
right?
That's right. We have a state sanctioned, is it city or state?
State
State.
sanction,
A
I
state
think.
sanctioned Hawaii Go month here because the governor plays Go too, apparently.
Yeah, so I just randomly saw
So
this in
cool.
this newsletter, and then I looked into Go because I played just a little bit of backgammon and was interested in board games in general, and picked up Go, and coincidentally there was a Korean cultural fair, and that was the first time I met all these people. And Chris played my first 19 by 19 game with me. Yeah, so I've been playing since
She did
then.
great. Spectacular.
That's great. Well, maybe before you know it, Victoria, maybe you're going to be getting sort of a one up on everybody else, and they're going to have to be catching up to you. So who knows? Guy, can you give us a quick refresher on how you got involved with the Honolulu Go Club?
Let's see. I finally got my job, so I graduated, so I had more time to spend. So I looked online. For years, I've been trying to find a Go Club. I just never had the time. And the first thing that popped up was his Honolulu Go Club. So asked him about it, and that's how I got involved. That was maybe like a year and a half ago.
You guys sound like you have a pretty vibrant club, I have to say. So, what do you guys say are the main draws to going to an in-person club?
Well, specifically for ours because it's in Hawaii, of course. But like I was just talking to like Vic about this. Like one of my favorite parts of Go is everybody is like really awesome. Anywhere I've played it. In Turkey, I played it. In Korea, I played it in the States. And like just everybody I've met is super friendly and just like fun people to hang out with. And then I guess the other part of that is like there's something different about playing on like an actual board. I've actually learned more from playing people consistently, like Guy or Dave. Dave definitely has like taught me a ton, and I've gotten stronger like because of them. For me, like just like visualizing on the board, for some reason being able to touch the stones, that like 3-dimensional, like the real thing, it's a little bit easier. So I can like think a couple more steps out. I get like weird online. So, how about you guys?
Yeah. I mean, there is something really special about playing on a physical board. I mean, this is my first time in Hawaii and I figured, hey, I just look up, is there a Go Club that I can visit when I have some time? I'm a really new player, so it was really cool finding a vibrant community here. Like, I learned a lot. Playing as Victoria was really fun, and that was my first proper 19 by 19 game, like not against a mobile thing. So I learned a lot and it was a lot of fun. Having other people kind of give pointers when they're playing a 13 by 13 game too is a lot of fun. So yeah. You don't really get that on a mobile board, but both are fun.
The members of the club are all like very generous at teaching. So even though I'm about 27Q and a beginner and really far away from the next person up from me, I mean, I just get teaching from everyone I play at all levels. And some people I get 9 stone handicap and they still beat me, but they're still willing to play with me. And they're all very just great teachers and very nice and generous players.
I don't play online. It just isn't fun. It's like, it's playing against a random stranger, but you come to the club and it's a club. You're playing with your friends and you're all talking and joking and making comments and teaching each other. We have people of all levels come and we can all learn from each other at the same time. It's really nice.
We really do have people of all levels who come though, so we get absolute beginners, and the beginners are either seem to be, well, no, they're of all ages. We get super young kids. We get very old people. We had a woman who was blind who came to learn and play for a little bit, the touch board. That was crazy.
Wow.
And she learned out. I mean, she was playing 9x9. And it really is just everybody being, like Victoria was saying, just it's club. And he's absolutely welcoming, we do this just in his garage, right? And we've had people who literally didn't even eat, they just walk on over and then oh, can I play Go? Yeah, come on over.
That's so cool. Do you guys have any fun traditions?
Well, I don't know if it's fun, and I don't know how much of a tradition it is, but we often go to Japanese Cultural Center
Yes.
Day or Korean Festival Day and set up a booth to teach people who aren't familiar with Go about Go, and occasionally get a new recruit to the club.
Yeah, we're definitely involved in a lot of community events out here. We all volunteer to do it, and then we all come out, and it's the same deal. It's just really fun being out at those events. Hopefully you get some people who come by the booth to play. You're probably not playing a game yourself, but it's just a really good time, being around everybody. And then maybe you do get to teach somebody how to play. And when you turn around and you teach that brand new person to play, you realize maybe you don't suck as bad as you thought you did. This met someone who you want to play Go. I got one. Yeah, it's a good confidence builder.
Oh, wow. How does it feel when you all get to see Myungwan Kim, the 9-dan professional that literally shepherded in a pro system in the US? What is he like, and how is it like seeing him?
Oh, we are so fortunate to have him.
Yeah.
He's great as a person. Obviously, he's great as a Go player, and he's really good as a teacher.
Yep.
He will give us lectures about Go principles in general. He will take professional game and analyze it for us. And then he'll play simultaneous games against maybe 16 of us. He'll play against all of us at once. And after the game's over, of course, he gives me a 13-stone handicap and still beats me. And then he comes back and he replays the game and tells us what we did wrong. It's incredible.
It is super cool. It's this is another cool thing about the Go community. I think, at least in the West, it's small. So you have these opportunities to meet people, these incredible people that, you wouldn't otherwise have that. Like Dave was just saying, it's Myungwan Kim, 9P. He's a 9-dan professional. And then he found it the same way that the rest of us did. He just emailed Sid. Sid was oh yeah, come on over. And he's all right, here we go. And then now we have this guy. And, he comes and he does all this stuff for free. If this was Korea or Japan, that might be $500-$600 for a lesson. So it's really the push that some of the professionals have, like Myungwan Kim, Cho Aeon, to popularize Go in the West, I think is completely awesome. It feels like they're reasonably effective too. I mean, he's doing this and our club has absolutely grown. People like him coming over, doing this stuff, really helping draw new players as well.
Just this year, the University of Hawaii now has a Go Club, which is new. So even the short 1 year that I've been playing, there's been growth.
That's great. What do you guys think when you think that other people are going to be listening to this and they're going to be thinking, oh, wow, is there a club near me, or should I start a club? What do you think the special sauce is? What do you think something that you see in the Honolulu Go Club that would be great for other people to try to emulate for a club near them?
The first thing I would say is just do it. Don't overthink it. Right? I mean, like Dave, correct me. I don't get the impression that like the Honolulu Go Club came from some like mastermind, like we're going to make this and that. I think it was just some guys who wanted to play Go. And the hardest part of playing Go is like finding someone to play Go. So if you're that person waiting to play Go, that is the way you're going to find somebody else. And then the second part, I think, for me, at least in my mind, is get word out there so people know you're around. So there's like Baduk Club, there's like Facebook, there's the Go Magic Discord, and then just be like super open. That has seemed to be like super successful for us, just being very much like just walk on in, come down. We had a guy 2 weeks ago who just came and watched, and he said like maybe I'll play next week, but it was fine. Like, he was like in awe of the game and he was asking questions and stuff. And there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to come back, but just like being cool with that and not like imposing like a lot of stuff, I think for us has worked in our favor at least.
Well, I will say that it's hard because it's hard to find people who care that much about Go and who want to play. So if you find them, latch onto them and then meet consistently. We sometimes have only 3 people come and sometimes we have 16 people come, but you need to meet regularly so that those who might want to come know that you're meeting and will always come. Even if it's sparse one week, you say, oh, this isn't worth it, let's quit. Don't quit. Keep meeting, keep the consistency, and find ways to draw in new people. Yeah, we try to teach classes or give lectures at schools, trying to find new people, get new people in. So, yeah, just do it.
It does help to have an online presence. So sometimes I can't make it to Go Club for like a 3-week stretch, but I do play on OGS. There's a Honolulu Go Club group there, and we have a Discord that Chris started, right? And so that's a nice way to have a community, even when people are not meeting in person regularly. Like some people have a busy stretch where they can't come for a few months, but they still keep in touch through the Discord.
Yeah, for real. So that's right. That's a great point. That's, I think, another part that we've kind of recently done. Like Honolulu Go Club has always had like an online presence, but I think it's only recently that we've had a group on OGS. So like the way that that's helped us is it's Hawaii, right? So you get a lot of people who are just like, like
Yep.
they're only going to be here temporarily and then they leave. Or you just get people who like blow in and they're like, oh, cool. Like I see it once and I leave. But like I said, if you're just like a bunch of like really good dudes, like you're open and friendly, and you can get somebody like, hey, go check out the free OGS group, and suddenly they're playing a correspondence game or something that like suits their schedule, then you might get them back. Soon. We've had that a couple times, and even if you don't, you have someone like an ally online who really wants to help.
Yeah, I'll add to that, echoing the just do it mentality. Like one, having a group that meets regularly is useful for folks like you who just want to find you, right? Knowing that they meet every Saturday, very cool. As you just able to drop on by, and the online presence helped because I just Googled you guys to find out that you existed. Like I didn't see it on Discord or anything. I just looked up Hawaii Go Clubs. And also I'll add to this another angle that just meeting in person helps make friends and make contacts. This is related, I swear. As the pandemic kind of let up, people were going out more. I went and visited some friends that had moved to LA, for example. And a number of them told me that it's really hard to make friends as an adult, especially coming out. So finding new hobbies, that's a big deal. So at least meeting in person, having a regular thing really, really helps when you see familiar faces. And I think it's pretty cool. This is one hobby you can make friends around too.
Yeah, that's another good one, right? So like Dave, didn't like COVID almost crush the Honolulu Go Club?
Yes, it's been a while, but I think we didn't meet for a few years.
Oh my goodness.
So as I remember, and like, so Dave, correct me if I'm wrong on this one. I emailed Sid because it was the same thing. Like I come to Hawaii and I Googled it. And I was like, oh, Honolulu Go Club. I emailed Sid. And he was like, well, we don't really meet anymore because after COVID and they shut down, I think they were playing at like a Borders or something or Barnes and Noble. Nobody really, people just stopped coming and that was kind of the end of it. But because that website and that Facebook page were still up and I could find him and I just, was a guy who wanted to play, we got back together. And I remember my first time, it was like me, Sid, and then that's how I met Dave. And then Joe, who's like in the car, and we played. And it was like literally like, I think it was just like the 3 of us. And then suddenly, I don't know what happened, like something magical happened, like I picked up steam and we started getting all sorts of people emailing us. And we bounced from a couple locations and then kind of settled on So it's like incredibly well stocked garage. I say garage, it sounds terrible. It's not creepy. I swear. Man, he's done so much. So like, like you can start from zero and like grow this thing. So we have like tables, we can probably suit up to 12 games maybe on the tables, maybe more. We have like visitor shares if they want to like watch, or maybe for like moms sit down. We have people who fill those chairs every day. Sid maintains this library of books because he collects them like Go books from like any language, and it's encyclopedic. Like anything, I go on Amazon and try to find something, and it's always in Sid's bookshelf for some reason. So yeah, I don't know. Like it's amazing how things can like grow, and it was just that like online presence, I think, that like saved it.
Yeah, and there's the teaching board too.
Right.
So when Mr. Kim comes, he does teaching on the teaching board that's in the middle where everyone can sit and pause their games and watch him teach.
My last question would just be like, this is already really helpful. I mean, just hearing about your story and the energy and what you love about it and all those things I think are really inspiring and encouraging. And I think it'll be great for people to hear it. Any last words or thoughts, Guy, or anybody else on just anything in general related to Go?
Well, I say kudos to you. Keep up the work of spreading the message and the joy of Go.
Thank all you guys, and Chris, thank you so much. I mean, you did not have to logistically go through all this, and I was playing Parago, Rengo with you guys, so you've already pulled me in as
That was
a.
awesome. That was my first.
I'm already an affiliated member. Yeah, so great. Well, hey, now we're doing Rengo, so we're already connecting across oceans and things like that. So thank you guys so much for taking the time, and go back and play some more Go.
Hell yeah! Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
Take
Thank
care.
you so much.
Now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the takeaways and key themes that I saw from all the conversations with a really diverse group of interviewees. The first one, and this is in no particular order, is focusing on the journey and not the destination. CT Nguyen was talking about this concept of striving play and about certain games having a focus on the actual struggle of the game, not actually on winning. And I think that really resonates for me personally, and I think for a lot of others. You certainly want to still achieve a victory in Go, but there's so much to learn and there's so many concepts and rules of thumb to learn along the way that I think a lot of us get enjoyment from that. And at the same time, we have a really hard time being okay with the struggle and being okay if the results are not directly following with how we feel we're improving. Some of the other interviewees, like Ben Teuber at AI Sensei, or Isaac, who had the incredible growth of going to 1 Dan in 1 year. You saw this theme echoed by a few of the other interviewees as well. And it kept on going back to this over-focus on rank and on not just trying to say, oh, I want to be a higher rank, so that's my goal, that's what I'm going to focus on. You can't just say, I want to be better or I just want to win. Right? That's like saying I want to be a millionaire. Well, that's great that I can say I want to be a millionaire all day long, but unless I'm putting out clear goals or stepping stones to get there, it's not really going to help. It's kind of just wishful thinking. And instead, I think this concept of focusing on growing, improving, failing, and remembering that everybody's aim is a little bit different. Dr. Arthur Mary showed us that when he thought about being in the psychiatric wards and seeing that people were getting different things or making different meaning out of playing the game of Go. Another big concept in there around the whole not focusing on the destination but the journey is remembering that it is just a game. Right? We heard from Isaac and also from Ben Teuber when he was trying to become German champion and was runner-up many, many times over that just getting overly focused on the winning is a problem. It gets you out of the flow state you need to be in to really think about how to play. And having really good advice around that about just stepping away or about saying, you know what, it's okay if this doesn't happen for me. And I remember Ben Teuber was saying that once he accepted the fact that he may not win it or that it's okay not to win it, he thinks that that subconsciously allowed it to happen and actually reduced his stress. Okay, next takeaway is that who we are and how we play the game changes over time. And the ways that we change can often be reflected in how we play the game. In the conversation I had for the LGBTQIA roundtable discussion, there were some connections between these incredible changes that some of the interviewees had gone through and equating that to aging. And sure, there could be a much more dramatic change with the former, but it does make me think about the fact that even myself as a person, thinking about what I was like as a 15-year-old versus as a 25-year-old versus my age now, and how I think about the world and what pressures and stresses are in my life, those will certainly leak out into my play or how I think about playing. And also my understanding of the world can probably leak into it as well. Number 3 is that AI has come a really long way. We saw this with talking to the creator of Kata Go with David Wu. We saw this with AI Sensei and Ben Toiber talking about the adjustments and changes he's made, particularly around making the bots much more human-like in their play. And how the next step will really be if we can instead look at the blue move that AI says is the best move to make, and maybe a lot of us don't understand it at our lower rank, what if we have the AI really show the moves that look more human-like that are maybe just slightly off from the best move? That would really have a much more profound impact across many more players, and you wouldn't have to be a low single-digit Q or one Dom player to really start to have AI benefit you. Then if I go back to Timothy Tamim, who was talking to us about psychoanalysis, I really enjoyed his concept around bringing psychology and what he called the spiritual aspects into Go, not just the mathematical side. I think that's usually the people that find the game fascinating in the West. I don't know that I personally connect as much with the spiritual aspect. I'm not sure that I'm feeling that personally, but I can see the psychological side absolutely, or how we function in the world in terms of things happening in life, feeling emotions about that, self-regulating those emotions. Playing Go is a really interesting example of showing those moments on the board where there's a cut, where there's a capture, where there's a significant situation, and there's then a process where you feel something bubble up inside of you and trying to make meaning of that. And sometimes there's no meaning to make, but other times there can be useful things to see. And playing Go can almost be like a Rorschach test that is actually reflecting how you feel about certain things. Terada also spoke about how playing a move says something about how you feel in that moment on the board. And whether you're seeing that board state correctly or not, it can still be really valuable. The last point I want to make in terms of takeaways is when Telegraph Go was talking about where he sees the best example of great learners in terms of improving at the game of Go. And he said, you really have to look at kids. Kids are the ones that have no shame. They'll try wild, aggressive moves and they will fail miserably, but they are not too afraid to try again. And that can really help you learn, in his opinion, and that trying things out of your comfort zone is so important. Telegraph Go thought that getting more people into Go will end with in-person play, but is more likely to start with online interactions just because he thinks it's easier. And it does feel like where we are in this moment, it feels like there's a lot more resources, at least than there was a few years ago. And so I think that's something that's very promising for all of us. More people to get into the game, more people to connect with, more people to learn from, more people to give back to as well. That is a wrap for season 3. I hope you enjoyed it. We covered a lot of ground, a lot of different perspectives. I want to again thank everybody that was willing to take the time to have the conversations and to share more with the Go community. And I will catch you next time. This is All Things Go.